what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back at it again, doing a little bit different filming area for this one because we have that SUV that everybody is still talking about. It's this vehicle right here. This year 2025 redesigned Toyota Land Cruiser. But before we get into this supreme off-road machine, let's talk about what's going on here. So the Land Cruiser name, it's been around for decades, and it really has been that standout Japanese icon around the world. Now, what's interesting is that it's been a few years since we had the Land Cruiser back here in the United States. And to be honest with you, that last generation, the Heritage Edition, it had a big price tag, over $90,000. Toyota decided to bring the Land Cruiser back to the United States with a redesign that everybody gets around the world, and they wanted to adjust the pricing to make it a little bit more obtainable. Now, of course, they had to do a lot of different changes, and one of those changes is they got rid of that tried and true bulletproof V8. It's what's under the hood that's making a lot of people kind of get up in arms and scratch their head when it comes to the power choice. And we'll get to that once we pop the hood. But what I want to find out is it really that big of a deal that this redesigned Land Cruiser has a little bit different interpretation of what's powering it compared to the previous generation? Let's go ahead, let's dive into ours and find out. Right off the bat, this color screams, I'm a Land Cruiser. It's called sand, and with the two-tone, it looks and has the feel of that classic Land Cruiser that goes back, like I said, for decades. Up front, you'll see the new face of the Land Cruiser. Triple LED beam headlights, LED daytime running lamps, and turn signals. I have to zonk this right here. Why do we have such a large area of fake vent? That needs to go. Working our way down, we do have functional corner air curtains, and I like the way that they're using Rigid Industries fog lamps, LED fog lamps. That's one of the things that Toyota has done the deal. They've done the business of winning the Baja 500, Baja 1000, and it's brands like Rigid, which they depend on to give that nice bright light, especially in the middle of darkness while you're doing those Baja adventures. Now, comparing this to the sister brand, the GX550, the face, I like the GX550 a lot better. But of course, then it comes down to price. But we'll talk about that more in a second. But glad that they went flat black on the lower portions. Everything else is painted that nice sand color. Now, as we come across that Heritage grille, whenever you see the Toyota name spelled out, that is the Heritage badge. Egg crate grille, you got some flat metallic gunmetal, some flat black, and then working our way down, I like this center section being flat black instead of painted. This will take a better beating over time. We have more functional grille on the lower portion. Forward-facing camera, my one zonk about the camera is that it does not have a washer, because if you're going off-road with this, it's gonna get dirty where the location is. It'd be nice to have a washer. And then the way that they sculpted the lower bumper area gives you plenty of ground clearance, over almost 10 inches of ground clearance on this Land Cruiser. And we have metal skid plates protecting the oil pan and the fuel tank. But let me know what you think about the face of this Land Cruiser. Now remember, if you go Land Cruiser 1958, which is the first year of the Land Cruiser, if you go with that model trim, it has the traditional round headlights. And I kind of like those better. Now, as we rise up, big bold hood. I like the way they dropped the center section. 2 rises on each side to give you good visual reference points. I'm still wondering why they did gloss black across this section here. It doesn't blend in with anything. They should have just painted it sand. Why are they putting gloss black? So I do have to zonk that. But as we come around the bend, what are we working with wheel and tire setup? On our Land Cruiser, we have these 20-inch wheels, V-spoke design, nice like gunmetal gray finish on them, 20-inch wheel in diameter. We have those Yokohama Geolander tires. Tires, all 4 corners are 265 on the width, 60 series sidewall. And then I'm gonna have Steven zoom in and show off. You can see all the suspension bits, the upper control arm, your shock absorber in there, and our TNGA box frame, that steel box frame from the Tundra. So that's gonna take a nice beating, and that's why this is truly a 4x4 SUV. Good amount of wheel travel, and I'm okay with it having the flat black around the fender openings. Not only does it look good, but this is also gonna take a better beating than if it was painted in sand. But let me know what you think about the wheels with our particular color of Land Cruiser. Now, as we come down the side, you do have gloss black. I don't know about that choice. On the side mirrors, they are power folding. You have your turn signals built in, 360-degree cameras. And from the side of this vehicle, this is a mid-size. It's not a full-size. This is a mid-size. Full-size would be the Sequoia. On the lower portion, you have your stationary running boards. Gloss black, which I'm not digging. I'm gonna zonk the gloss black on the door handles, but I'm definitely not zonking the two-tone, and I like those raised roof rails. You can get the crossbars, your cargo basket, nice rise in that rear portion of the passenger door, the rear passenger door, good size on our quarter window, and then as we swing around back of our 4x4, they did it right. You got a nice long roof spoiler. It's okay that they have the exposed wiper. I think it fits the attitude of the Land Cruiser. Another thing that's really great is that you could actually pop the rear glass. Makes it for easy access. Land Cruiser name, good job on the taillights, the Toyota badge, and this is the big talking point, iForce Max. No longer a V8, not even a V6. We'll talk more about that in a second. Working our way down, I don't like this thing. This looks like a zit on a teenager's face. It's the cover for where you have your towing accessories. Underneath, we have our spare mounted up. And another thing I'm a little concerned about is that exhaust tailpipe. It's a little bit low. It's a little bit of a dangler. I don't know if you really want a dangler on the back of your Land Cruiser, but the way they sculpted the rear lift gate looks very muscular and very, very living up to its name. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and find out what the heck does iForce Max even mean. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. Quite surprised that there's a prop rod. I am gonna zonk that. There should be hood struts. Underneath the hood, it's sort of like a V8 minus 4 cylinders. You are looking at a 2.4 liter turbocharged engine, but it's an iForce Max, so that means that it's a hybrid setup. So what are we exactly looking at? You're looking at 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in 7.6 seconds. Top speed is governed to 109 miles per hour. MPGs 22 in the city, 25 on the highway. The vehicle weighs 5,639 pounds, and it could tow up to 6,000 pounds. So a lot more towing capability than a Bronco or a Jeep Wrangler by going with this Land Cruiser, but a big difference in how that power is produced compared to the outgoing V8. But why don't we go ahead, let's turn it on and see it move. All right, guys, we're inside this 2025 Toyota Land Cruiser. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I did not get a chance to even think about buying the previous generation just because the pricing was so out of control. I am very curious about this new Land Cruiser, but how much is it? This particular one, MSRP, is right at $67,000. Let's see what you get if you go Land Cruiser to the door panels. I love the two-tone. You have simple, soft touch black up top. And then I'm digging that darker, sort of like milk chocolate brown with the white contrast stitching. No gloss black around the switchgear. Door pocket is very tight. Maybe 6 Pop-Tarts and a bottle of chocolate milk to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, we got the JBL premium sound system. More of that soft touch, a little bit of trim. Even the way they did the soft touch for your passenger and driver's knees. That's also a nice touch. Slide on in, you're gonna get this 14-inch infotainment system screen. The big zonk here is you gotta pay a subscription service for the navigation. That is a big zonk. But you hit the little car icon, you could get into your climate control, very simple, front and rear, all touchscreen. And then you could obviously set up the different drivers because of the Toyota multimedia system. And then we could go right back to basically where we started. Throw it into reverse, backup camera, clear as day. Wow, nice trajectory, nice 360. Put it back into park. Then you work your way down. We got real toggle switches for our dual climate control. 3 stages of ventilated seats, 3 stages of heated seats, and a heated steering wheel, of course. This is for your front view camera. 3 USB-Cs, wireless charging, and then this is going to control your 8-speed automatic. I'm going to move it out of the way because this is where we have our mode selector knob. I'll show you this when you come to the business side. Your MTS, which is your downhill control ascent. You also have your crawl control. This is going to shift through your 4x4. You can lock the rear diff or the center diff, and you could disconnect electronically the stabilizer bars, 2 cup holders. The one thing I would like to see finally from Toyota is a new key fob. Noah had this on his Arc, so I would like a new key fob, but the nice thing is it does say Land Cruiser on the back. Kind of nice. Soft touch material. Open it up. We got a cool box. So you could put a box of Twinkies in there and keep them nice and chilled. Seats, soft text, the stitching, nice design, full electric assist for the passenger, full electric assist for the driver. Crazy that you don't get a panoramic sunroof, just a standard size sunroof, but you do have a beautiful digital rear view mirror to make up for it. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I'll show you behind the steering wheel in this Land Cruiser. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings. Easy to get to those seat controls. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm swimming in space in this thing. Seats are very comfy. I love the steering wheel because it's just very simple and clean. You got the Toyota Heritage badge, all the flat black on your switchgear. It is a power tilting and telescoping wheel. And then you do have that 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. What Steven likes is the graphics when I go through the modes. So you got Sport, Normal, and Eco. And it's really cool to have those nice clean graphics. And there's also a head-up display, so they got you covered there as well. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat and see if your passengers are going to be happy that you went Land Cruiser. All right, guys, back seat time. What I love about this SUV is that because it is just a 2-row, you got lots of room back here, not even close to the headliner. The bad news is the seats don't slide, so that is a zonk, but they do recline, and they recline quite a bit. I got the AC vents up high. Love the nice chocolate brown all the way around. You could fill this up with easily 20 king-size Snickers. Got a nice little command center here with your AC controls. Easy to work, digital screen. And then down below, you do have a 12-volt and 2 USB-Cs. So you got your connectivity down there, which is nice. Like I said, the JBL sound system, the AC vents, pull this bad boy down. Ooh, super soft, like a piece of Charleston chew. 2 cup holders. Why don't we go ahead, let's get in that cargo area because I'm ready to go for a spin in this Land Cruiser. All right, guys, cargo area time. You could open it up just by hitting the button right at the back. That's gonna give you a nice electric assist, or you could open up the rear glass separate. You're gonna be greeted to 38 cubic feet of space. Now, the only thing I don't like is that even though this is 2 rows, we still have the cup holders and the armrest back here. But you do have USB-Cs on both sides. And I guess if you're out camping or tailgating, you could put bottles in there and that will be okay. Underneath here, we got a little bit of storage. That's where you could keep your Twinkie stash. And then you do have a little bit more storage in the back as well. One of the things I just want to point out is look at how high that rear cargo area is. You fold down the rear seats, that gives you 83 cubic feet of space. Plus, there's a home power source back here, which is really nice. So you can have your phones charging, and then you could plug in a blender and make yourself some margaritas. But why don't we go ahead? It's that time. I'm not ready for a margarita. What I am ready for is to go on throttle. Let's go for a drive in this Toyota. All right, guys, we're inside this 2025 Toyota Land Cruiser. And right away, it's just, everything is just organized so well. Toyota puts so much time into setting up their interiors to be comfortable, to be kind of like understandable, if that makes sense, to where you know where everything is going to be located, and there really is a place for everything and everything in its place in here. Getting to that 14-inch screen is well within reach. Love the digital gauge cluster. And if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. So you're gonna feel the instant kick of torque from the electric motor. But if you think that this thing is gonna sound like a V8, it does not. And I'm glad that they didn't pump a bunch of like fake V8 sound into the cabin. That we don't need that. That's not a good thing. But what you're gonna love, besides the layout in here, seats are super comfy. I feel like I could spend a whole day sitting in these seats. Love the thickness of the steering wheel, the leather. And just like I said, the way everything is well laid out in here, you have great visibility, your digital rear view mirror. It's just very shocking that a $67,000 SUV doesn't have a sunroof and doesn't have ventilated seats for the back. That would be a nice touch for $67,000. But what you do get is some of the toughest drivetrain when it comes to the 4x4 system, and the fact that you can electronically disable or disengage the sway bars is another nice touch to get that extra wheel travel. So, you know, I always want to make sure that when I'm doing a review, I want to try to be as perfect as I can, because that's what Steven expects from me. So you got that standard size sunroof in here. I'm just shocked there's not a panoramic sunroof. Just want to specify that and make the necessary corrections. But we're going to go on throttle as soon as this light turns green. So you can see that with the electric motor, you are getting that instant oomph off the line, and that does help. I mean, it's got 465 pound-feet of torque. Here we go, on throttle, look at that. And of course, I have it in sport mode. Nice shift from the 8-speed. Definitely a better transmission than the previous generation. And visibility is fantastic in this. It really is very comfortable and very smooth, even though at any given moment, if you need to go off the beaten path, this will do it, and will do it with no problem. There is obviously some regen braking for that lithium-ion battery pack that we have on board. And the other thing that Toyota does super well is you can't really tell while you're driving when the engine is turning on and off. Some vehicles, it's like so obvious, it's uncomfortable. This though, very smooth, very seamless, and that makes sense because Toyota has so many decades of experience with hybrid vehicles. Obviously, I'm talking about the Toyota Prius. But I think the big plus is, especially compared to the previous generation, this drives so much better. It drives better, it rides better, it's easier to control. And definitely the gas, like the fuel economy in this, you're not stopping for gas as often as you would in a previous generation Heritage Edition. I just feel for the price, I would probably spend a little bit more and get the Lexus GX. That would be my personal take. But I'm hoping that this has been a good, quick, overall, nearly perfect review. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day always when we're at home and we're able to do these reviews. I definitely want to thank everybody at Toyota USA for getting us access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Does this live up to the Land Cruiser name? Are you upset it doesn't have a V8? Let me know down in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rights family. Got to give it up to Stephen Flood. He's working hard today. He's actually working harder than other days, which I didn't think was even possible because of such a hard worker that he is. So thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.